I came into a role where we have a lot of heavy machinery on site, and all of it was being looked after with sort of reactive maintenance. So there was no preventative maintenance in place, no maintenance plan of when the machine was serviced, oiled, looked after. Very rudimentary in people's heads. So we went for a maintenance scheduler that would come in and put all of what was in people's heads onto paperwork and put in a preventative maintenance scheme. So we are now running planned preventative maintenance on a software package called Safety Culture, which is just in its infancy, but it's getting there and getting better. And we've started to finally do some preventative maintenance on the machines. Positives is I've worked with a few, not many if I'm honest, but the ones I have worked with, they start off very well and will be very communicative at the start. I get lots of conversations at the start, but as soon as I'm passed over a candidate, they kind of the communication stops, and that's them finished with it. So they don't communicate with me or the person they push forward for the job. And then I'll get a lot of cold calls off them. So as soon as I have done one that wasn't successful, I'll then get a barrage of 40 or 50 CVs to go forwards. So it's been, I've had some good, some bad. Again, when I spoke to you, Sean, obviously it was a much nicer experience. So it was focused CVs, and you took the stress of the initial interviews out of the way. So that made a huge difference, because I can spend, if I need a job, I can spend the next 2 weeks just interviewing people and not doing any work at all. And 90% of the interviews I would do would just be pointless because they were not the correct candidate for the job, even though their CV said it was. Too many candidates pushed forward that weren't of the right caliber.
Yeah.
Extortionate costs. And probably once I'd made contact with them, the barrage of emails that would follow, even if I didn't need them again. It would just be a lot of drop emails into my inbox, which then I have to set up as spam because I just don't want to keep, which makes me not want to work them again, because it's just a relentless amount of emails that I don't need to see every day about CVs, and I'm not even advertising for a job. I think it was because when we spoke, and it was initially on LinkedIn, is when I was at MagTech I initially spoke to you. I think I was looking for work when I was leaving. And pushing my CV out, and I know we didn't do anything with that, but then I remember that when I spoke to you initially, it was a really nice interaction. It was more of a personable reaction, sort of interaction of sort of very friendly, and it made it much more easy to communicate with you rather than it being recruiter person. It was recruiter, somebody I can actually engage with and speak to like a human being. So yeah, I found it it was more of a friendly environment. So I would class you as somebody if I wanted to, I could call up and have a chat and a cup of tea over, talk about Helen. Whereas the other people, it would be, I want to talk to you and it's about Helen, but I would also like to look at these other 5 CVs, please, in case you want that job. So if I was advocating you onto another company, I would say, I've dealt with a lot of recruitment agencies in the past. If you want something that's simple, it's friendly, professional, TechWaves is I would use again. They take the hassle out of the first round interviews. The price is good. You get a term of service where if the person you hire leaves, that they will go start again for free to make sure we get the right person the job. There was a lot of interaction between myself, yourself, Sean, and the other recruiters you use, and it was always friendly, always polite, always professional, and it ensured that I got the right person for the job first time, rather than me having to go through rounds and rounds and rounds of interviews to find someone. So if I need it again, need service again, I'll only come back to you, I think, for the foreseeable future. The interview with Helen, the tour around the site, a few interactions with you. I mean, everything from start to finish with everybody involved. Yeah, maybe between 5 and 7 hours, I would say, total of my time. Specifically, the initial interview stage, so doing the first round of interviews for me was key, because, like I say, previously when I've worked with recruiters, I'll end up doing all of the first round. They'll send me the CV and I'll say, yes, I would like to see these 10 people, and I've then got to set up 10 lots of interviews, either in person or over the web, and then it just takes up so much of my time. I've got to try and find times where it suits both of us and the person I was interviewing, and it just becomes a logistical nightmare that I just have got not the time for. When you guys said, we'll do the first round of interviews, we'll interview them, you give us some specific questions to ask, so I could even get, rather than it just being a set of questions you you've set out, I had questions that I wanted to ask that went into the interview, and I could see immediately. And also, I find that I'll usually know, within the first 5 minutes of speaking to somebody, whether they're right for the role, because they may have every qualification I need, but they may not be the right person for the role. And I can tell that from the way they spoke to you in the interviews or to one of your colleagues, if they were the right person for the role straight away.